This luxury perfume brand has, I am seeing it everywhere. Every perfume reviewer is talking about it. People are receiving it and loving it. And so when I was able to get my hands on this fragrance, I was captivated. So I'm super excited to share with you the fragrance we're looking at today. Hello, my name is Ellison, and on this channel I do perfume reviews, and I am trying to help you find the next best fragrance to add to your collection. So if that is something that you are interested in, I would highly suggest you hit that subscribe button down below just to stay in the loop with my future uploads. So today's fragrance is the one, the only House of Beau Bombon Perfume. This brand is just absolutely gorgeous. I feel like the caps on their perfumes, just stole my heart. Love everything about the brand. Love how they just present themselves as these beautiful, very distinguished, very unique fragrances in a very unique brand. Love that. And so when I started seeing a lot about House of Beau, I was instantly just struck by them, and I had to smell their fragrances. And the Bombon fragrance is considered a white floral gourmand, which really piqued my interest. So let's go ahead and take a look at our fragrance notes. So the top notes are Lychee, Lily of the Valley, and white saffron. The middle notes are pink pepper, marshmallow, and bergamot caramel. And then the bottom notes are white birch, white birch, aged cognac, and ambergris. Help me, guys. Tell me all about it. So this has a very interesting, looking at these notes, like a fascinating collection of fragrance notes, because we have some florals, we have some fruit, we have some white saffron, so spice, pink pepper, spice, we have some woody fragrances, we have obviously some gourmands like marshmallow, like aged cognac, and then we have this bergamot caramel, which is sort of strikes me as like a citrusy but sweet kind of gourmand. And so just the most fascinating collection and selection of fragrance notes, for one thing. So go ahead and spray this here. Oh my word. It's just wow. So the pink pepper in this is pretty obvious to me, but what I really smell from the top, from the beginning, is a very woody, very peppery fragrance, but I'm getting a lot of the cognac, actually. I'm actually getting a lot of cognac, which is considered a pretty masculine fragrance note, just because, when you think cognac, you think like a whiskey bar or a bourbon bar, or, some kind of bar that has a lot of wood features, a lot of, things like that, where it's just sort of aged, it's rustic, it's sort of rugged. Yeah, just a very woody kind of fragrance note. It's considered a gourmand because it is edible, but it is more of that woody masculine kind of gourmand. But then you are pairing it with a little bit of sweet from things like the marshmallow and the caramel, but then I'm also getting a lot of whiffs of fruitiness and a lot of sort of this citrusy kind of fragrance. When I wore it the other day, so I wore it all day about maybe 1 or 2 days ago, wore it all day, and first of all, lasted all day. But what I was getting as I wore it, obviously, like I said, up front, from the beginning, I get a lot of this just woody nature to it. But as it wears, as I wore it, I really was smelling a very citrusy, and it struck me as more of a mandarin smell, but I'm thinking it was a blend of the lychee and the bergamot caramel, like I was pulling out that bergamot element of the bergamot caramel. Just because, it was just sort of settling into this very nice, woody but citrusy fragrance that, it was just so pleasant to wear. Just so pleasant to wear. It was sort of this cozy fragrance, but in a very, leveled up fashion. It just felt like I was being all ooey gooey, cozy, comfy, but also living my best life, right? Living the most luxurious life ever. That's what it felt like. And so, yeah, it's just this gorgeous, gorgeous perfume, a beautiful blend. I know it says white floral gourmand, and smelling it, I do get hints of Lily of the Valley, but I would not be fooled by the gourmand, like the gourmand in the title. And we've talked about that before, where we automatically think when we hear gourmand, we think that it's going to be sweet. We think, oh, it's going to smell like cake or something like that. This is definitely that, aged cognac kind of gourmand. This is definitely that, oh, this is a smoky, like very woody, rustic gourmand. This is more of your savory that kind of gourmand, more than, oh, your dessert gourmand. Completely different kind of gourmand. And I think that paired with just the light hint of Lily of the Valley and the white saffron, so it's showing a picture of a flower, but it's a spice. I mean, saffron is a spice, and so it's just gorgeous. I think that people might automatically think of like the ambery saffron perfume from Dossier Perfumes as I'm describing this, but honestly, I mean, it has absolutely no resemblance of that at all. You might be thinking that. It's not true. Oh, just gorgeous. Like I said, the wear time of this perfume, I wore this all day. I sprayed it once, okay? I sprayed it in the morning one time, and I mean, it lasted all day. I didn't have to reapply. I didn't have to go back and like freshen up. I smelled it on myself all day. It started sort of tapering off in the evening time of the day, but even at that, it was like I was getting very good hearty whiffs. Even when it was like starting to weaken as the day started to dwindle, even when that was happening, the like faint whiffs of the perfume that I was getting was still, I mean, they were still very strong, still very powerful, and still very dense in their, like, the delivery. Like, the fragrance, it didn't fall apart as the day wore on. And I think that in and of itself is that says a lot about the brand, because I think that a lot of times, it's typically top, middle, base. Top vanishes, middle vanishes, base stays and then vanishes. But with this, it never felt like, oh, well, I can't smell any of the top notes now, and I can't smell any of the middle notes now, and like it never felt like the fragrance fell apart. It never felt like slices of the fragrance were basically dropping off. It felt like the perfume was well blended, well crafted in such a way that, it actually stayed. It actually lingered for a while. So beautiful fragrance. Just right there, right now, beautiful perfume. I would highly suggest you get this perfume if you like those spicier, more, savory, spicy, gourmand kind of fragrances with a hint of like the sweet and just a hint of the citrus and woody, then this is definitely for you. I would hands down buy a bottle of this stuff because it is absolutely gorgeous. It's beautiful for this time of year, for, the winter season, but also for Christmas, just because it sort of gives you the feeling of cozying up by the fire, but in a very, like, classy kind of way. Not in the, oh, we're roasting marshmallows by the fire kind of way, but more of a, oh, this is like a classy Christmas perfume, like a classy, woody, country Christmas kind of perfume, and I just love it. It's absolutely gorgeous. So as far as occasions that I would wear this to, so obviously, like I said, it's perfect for this time of year, for the season, but I feel like it really does, I think that it is a pretty flexible perfume to wear. It is heavier, it's a little bit heavier, and I would definitely reserve it for the fall, winter seasons just because of how warm it is, but I don't feel like it is attached to an event. I feel like you can really wear this just about anywhere. I feel like if you wore this to the office, if you wore this to run errands, that people wouldn't think, geez, like, who are you trying to impress? People wouldn't think that. But I also feel like if you wore this to a special event, that it would just be, you'd be well presented. You'd be well, right? You'd be wearing it well. So I feel like it's a very flexible, very versatile fragrance. Once again, I would keep it in the cooler seasons just because of the weight, just because of the warmth of the fragrance. But I do think that it's pretty flexible as far as the events that you can actually wear it too. Now, if you are looking for something that's a little bit more affordable, a little bit more within your price range, but still holds this sort of cozy, woody element to it, then I would highly suggest you watch this video right here. This is my video on the Dossier Perfume's Woody Chestnut fragrance. Ugh, sorry. That perfume is just absolutely gorgeous, perfect for the season. Once again, a very nutty, woody, cozy perfume with just the hint, a very slight hint of sweet. So if you are looking for something very similar to this, but that is a little bit more in your price range, then I would highly suggest you check that video out. I will link this, the Bombon Perfume down below. So if you are ready to invest in this fragrance for yourself, then you can definitely do that. Other than that, thank you so much for joining me today. I love you oh so very much. And until we meet again, so long.